You've probably seen the new game Gotham Knights, and I'm here to tell you why the game is worth it. Gotham Knights is a game that takes place in Gotham right after Batman dies, so to still keep the crime at bay. You play as one of 4 characters: Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, or Red Hood. This video is going to be spoiler-free story-wise, so don't be worried. One thing that is really important to know is that this game does not take place in the same universe as the Arkham games. It takes place in another world, so the story doesn't line up. You've possibly seen some bad reviews for this game, but I'm here to tell you why you should still go for it, since it really isn't a bad game at all. If you have played the Batman Arkham games, and you're wondering whether you would like to buy this game or not, you should probably take into consideration that this isn't the same type of game at all. So be aware of this so we won't be blinded by the fact that this is a type of Batman game. Batman is featured, but he is not a playable character. The closest we have is Batgirl, who has a similar type of gliding ability as in the Arkham games. Every character has their own gliding ability. Batgirl is the fastest and what I found the most fun to use. Robin has a teleporter, Red Hood can bounce on the air, and Nightwing has a jet glider. Gotham Knights is kind of an RPG game. Don't take this the wrong way if you haven't liked any RPG games before. It's not like any of the Arkham games at all. The difference is you can craft gear, you've got elemental effects on your ranged and melee weapons, and if you hit an enemy with it enough, the enemy will get a debuff from it, similar to Assassin's Creed and Horizon Zero Dawn. You can customize the suits with different logos, arm protectors, leggings, and masks. You can also choose the color palette of your current skin. The game is based around the story, and it allows multiplayer, which is a very fun addition to the game. And if you want to play this game with a friend, but you both play the same character, no worries, you can play the same character, even though it looks a bit whack. Most of the bad critique is around that the combat feels repetitive, but that's not always the case. You see, Gotham Knights is a very free game which offers you many battles. The types of enemy and attacks and stuff varies between where you choose to take your fights. When you get a perfect dodge and damage enemies, you'll get something called momentum, which can be used for momentum abilities, which are different for all characters. Once you unlock your glider, you also unlock more abilities. The skill tree is different for all characters as well. If the fighting feels repetitive, you should probably get to another location or start a new main mission which goes into 4 lanes, because you can choose the order of which boss you would like to take on first. And the enemies you fight along the way are the goons of the bosses: Clayface, Harley Quinn, and Mr. Freeze. If you find yourself to be fighting the same type of enemy a lot, you are probably grinding, because for me, this game gave me new enemies all the time, like throughout the story. They keep adding new enemies even at the end of the story. I feel like the combat feels a lot more satisfying than in the Arkham games. It's a lot more varied based on the character. The reason behind this is that I feel smaller. I feel weaker than Batman. So to take on a bunch of enemies makes me feel really good at the game, at least when I play in hard mode. But the takedown animation and the stealth takedown animation makes this game look so polished. It varies based on the environment. If you're taking down an enemy close to a wall, the animation is way different than normal. And if you feel like the game gets boring, you can choose another character. It feels so different and apart from the other characters that it feels like a whole another experience. The New Game Plus is a feature in many games, but in Gotham Knights it feels so much better, because you can use a gliding ability when you aren't supposed to have them yet. And the New Game Plus also increases the level cap from 30 to 40. There are so many collectibles to find, so if you're a completionist, don't worry, there are tons of content for you guys. The graphics aren't the best on consoles if you would like a solid frame rate. The graphics look solid on a computer with max settings, but it can get lag spikes often. But on consoles, the game is capped at 30 FPS, but on computer it's 60. And if you still aren't convinced, that's totally fine. People have different opinions, and that's alright. But this is something you really shouldn't miss out on.